That's my alarm to take Clark to the bus. But I'm going to get this live up and running. I am going to turn over to Liz at this point and let her get started. But with her starting, I know that we want you guys to think of, because you might not be in this spot right now. But as you know, in our calls, we don't wait for you guys to need the information right now. We try to get you information ahead of time. So whether you're thinking of building a team or just bringing on one agent for help, or building a mega team, doesn't matter, self-organized, standard. First question should be, why do you want to build a team? And with that, and with you guys all thinking about that, I'm going to turn over to Liz while I get this live up and running. Go ahead, Liz.
Good morning, my amazing peeps. Honestly, don't feel like you have to raise your hand or put questions in the chat. Honestly, if you guys have questions, concerns, or anything, just come off mute. Like, I want this to be very, just very collaborative. So I'm just going to give kind of my perspective on what being a team leader and, go from there. But I want all of you guys to think about what Tiffany just said and really think about it. Like, if you're in just the beginning stages, why do you want to build a team? So for anybody who is currently in that process, can you just give me I want it to be collaborative, and I want to ask the question, why do you want to build a team? And you're back. And it's okay if nobody wants to come off.
And I'll put another question in, like a piggyback question, because for some, they're like, I don't want to be a team leader, but I do want to look for a team, or at one point be on a team. Same question, why?
Like, why do you want to join a team? Why do you want to start a team? I think that is a great way to segue and to really get this call going. A tighter network to scale 100%, right? So most people join teams or want to start teams. Why? Because they want to build a community, right? They want to have the support. They want someone that knows what they're doing. They just want a resource and a direct line to someone that basically they can utilize as Google, right? So that is why I started a team. And the reason I'm segueing into this. So when I first started in the business, I was like, hey, I don't know jack squat about anything in real estate. And I was so terrified of getting sued that I said, you know what, maybe it's going to be a bigger split, obviously, because when you join a team, you do have a bigger split. I said, let me join a team because it's going to allow me to get the knowledge that I need in order to be successful in real estate. So that's what I did. I joined mega, the different brokerage, right? It was a mega team. So considered a mega icon team, like here in EXP. And we had a transaction manager, we had a listing coordinator, we had buyer's agents, we had showing agents, we had it all. And all I had to do was basically meet people, put them under contract. But I wasn't understanding the process. I'm like, I want to know what it is to start a transaction and finish a transaction. And it's great to have people in the pie helping, but I want to understand how to take a transaction from A to B. Oh, excuse me, from A to Z. So as I was going through it, I'm like, look, maybe I kind of jumped the gun a little too, I didn't search out the right team. I just thought, hey, they're a big name. They do a lot of business. That's going to be great. I'm going to get leads and yada, yada. Honestly, guys, if you're joining a team for leads, shame on you. I'm going to put it out there. You guys know I'm very black and white about things. I'm very transparent. If you're joining a team to get leads, shame on you. If you're a new agent on my team and I'm interviewing you, I will tell you hands down, look, if you're looking to join my team because you want to get leads, I am not the team for you. Have a nice day. I believe Desiree's on here right now. She will tell you the exact same thing. I have no shame in saying it, because I learned that being on a mega team where they were just feeding me Zillow leads, it took me forever to convert them. Honestly, I was working with some leads for a couple months up until 3 years. There were some that closed then, but the splits, it was just, I wasn't in survivor mode. And if you guys know my story, you know what I dealt with, and you guys know my life, right? So that took a lot from me. And then I said, you know what? I need to create something that is going to allow me to, I got to create something that I didn't have, very similar to what Ibrahim Hussein said, if you were on the call a couple months ago. He's like, I wanted to create a community that I didn't have. And that's kind of where I just started. I decided to join start my team, excuse me. But again, it goes back to I'm going to teach you how to fish. I'm not going to just feed you. I want you guys to learn how to run your business. So I'm going to, what I did before I started this team, I said, look, and something I want to do in the future, but before I do that, I need to start with me. So I need to be able to say, hey, I need to learn my contracts. Like in order for me, like, I don't want to be the blind leading the blind, right? You don't want that. So I'm like, I need to know my contracts, and I need to know my contracts inside and out to make sure that I am no longer, I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, forgive me. That was a text message that I needed to get into. I needed to read, but I knew that I wanted to make sure that I never put someone else's license in jeopardy. So I said, look, I'm going to start with me. And I don't care. I'm like, I've been in business for 5 years. I've done plenty of transactions. I know a contract very, very well. However, I will tell you, I know my contracts, but I will always get a second opinion if I feel a little shaky about something. So you need to be able to be open enough to someone to say, hey, like, can you just review this addendum for me? Can you review this contract? Make sure I didn't miss anything. It is so important because you don't want to put your license in liability. You don't want to put your clients in liability. So I say, always, before starting a team, guys, start with yourself. Start with training. It is okay to do all the training in the world, but it also goes hand in hand with execution. Like, you have to be willing to get down to the nitty gritty. Does that make sense? Like, you can't be a team leader and say, hey guys, you need to go door knocking, you need to cold call, and you need to do open houses if I'm not willing to do so. Because why are you joining me, right? You want someone who's going to get down to the nitty gritty with you. It's so funny. I see like two people's cameras on right now, so I'm just like focused on them. So I apologize. Tim, stop me mugging. Shannon. So I will always say that part, right? Like, you guys know me, like, I'm a team leader, but I go through and I door knock with my team. I'm like, look, I will door knock in the rain with you. I will put out signs. I'm going to be out there doing the open houses because I'm not better than you. I want to guide you through this process. So however, if I started a team and I'm like, oh, I'm the team leader, I don't go through and door knock and this, and like, that's your job. No, we are in this together. We are in this together. And if if I'm willing to do something and you're not willing to do it, then why are you even here? You know what I mean? And I will challenge you guys who are thinking about joining a team. When you're interviewing these teams, look at the team leader and say, hey, are there someone that's just talking the talk, or they're going to walk the walk as well? Are you willing to get down to the nitty gritty with me? Now, there are some people who have mega icon teams that they can't just go through and do the door knocking with you, and that's okay. But they have the resources, they're great people. Somebody that I look up to that is within our group, Ariel Vargas. If you guys know Ariel Vargas, and I know Delania and Kenya are here, he is probably one of the most remarkable team leaders I've ever met in my entire life. Hands down. Like, he is a servant leader, and I look at people like Ariel, I look at people like Ibrahim Hussein, and I'm like, those are the people that I want to emulate in my team. So again, when I went through and I decided that I wanted to join it, that I wanted to start my own team, I picked and chose what I liked from different people and created my own community. Now, what I will say is when you start a team, any team leader will tell you hands down that after you focused on yourself, your business, you're going to attract agents that want to work with you. It's happened to all of us. You guys seen progression of Tiffany, myself, Lizette. Once you start focusing on yourself and your own business, the people who want to work with you, they're just going to come your way. They're like, oh my God, Liz, I would love to work with you. Tiffany, I would love to join your team. Do you have a team? Tiff, what's up, babe? And I told you, just come off mute.
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to remind everyone that this goes back to what Elizabeth Riley brought up last week.
Yep.
She mentioned that she has over 70 people in her front line, and she didn't call to recruit a single one of them. None of them. It started with natural conversation, and they wanted to work with her. She offered collaboration, like, hey, do you want to mastermind together, things on that nature. And like Liz said, they just naturally gravitated towards her. So when you think about building your tribe, know that if you are your authentic self, your tribe will come to you. They will find you, guaranteed.
And also understand too that when it comes to building a team, think about how you want to do it. It doesn't have to be a traditional team. It could be a self-organized team. It could be just your rev share. It can be the people within your family tree. So I think the most important thing after asking yourself, why do you want to start a team, is figuring out what kind of team do you want to build. I think that's the secondary question to that, because I can tell you, Tiffany can tell you, I know Ariel can tell you too, is sometimes when you're building these teams, a lot of people don't realize that your personal production is going to take a step back. That is the God's honest truth. You have to be okay with your production going down while you're in that building phase, because you're focused on other people's business. You're focused, your personal income is going to go down. And people have said it all the time, and I will repeat it. You don't make that much more money when you start a team. It's the truth. Tiffany, would you agree with me when I say that?
Facts. If anything, especially when you're starting out with a team and wanting to support them and assist them, especially if they are new agents as well, you notice a shift in your focus, which can result to a decline in your production, and that's natural. So unless you have built up the pipeline to know that that money is still coming in, then facts, you will lose money in the beginning.
And you have to be okay with that. Most people aren't. So that's why I say you go back to the reason, why do I want to start a team and what kind of team do I want to start? You have to think about that. That's so important. And then for new agents who are thinking about joining a team, why, again, going back to why do you want to join the team in the beginning? Because I will tell you this, unlike me, there are other teams that do straight Zillow leads. They're like, hey, we're going to pay for leads and blah, 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 blah. Cool. That is a team for you, not for me. I'm good. Because when you become dependent and reliant on those leads, forget about it. You will never know how to run your business. So those are things that I wanted to touch base on. I know this is kind of again, this is very collaborative, but please, guys, start with yourself. Tiff, is there anything else that you want me to go into? Oh, I was talking about being where was I? I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, mom brain, guys.
It's okay. What I wanted to get into is more of what are the actions and things that you do. Because for example, and I know you guys have heard about this because she's very open about it. When she has an open house, she invites her agents to come and door knock with her so that they can see her, what she's doing, how she's doing it, the flyers that she's handing out. So when I say she's leading by example, she is leading her team, showing them like a mama duck what they have to do, how to swim and how to navigate real estate. And I feel like I can safely say this, for most of us, we like that type of learning style. I mean, you guys can raise your hands. How many people truly enjoyed taking online classes where it wasn't a video, it was just scripted, it was just there for you to try to take in on your own? Because I didn't. I would have rather had all my teeth pulled 10 times over.
Yeah.
Give me veneers, make it easy, because that was horrible for me. And what some of us don't realize is that that's really what the training is like out there.
Mhm.
When some teams, you join a team and you go to the team leader and you're like, hey, I really want to start doing open houses. They're going to tell you, awesome, we have a course for that. Just go in here, get that folder, get the pamphlet, go to marketing, they'll print your flyers. And that's it. That's what they'll tell them. Or they'll say, oh, so-and-so has an open house as well. Why don't you go and shadow them?
Yeah, no, that's not how I do it. I'm like, if you want to, and Des is on here, she'll tell you, if you want to do something, like I will go to town with you. Like, if you want to focus on open houses now, and I also will tell them, like, guys, look, I am not a cold caller, and that is okay. Because I'm not a cold caller, let's help you find someone that's great at cold calling so we can partner you with them so that you can build on that skill. I'm not a cold caller, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Like, I am not ashamed to say it. It's just not good for me. I mean, I can talk on the phone, that's fine, but I don't like it. I really enjoy meeting people face to face and being all up in your area. Like, I want to be all up in your face, like, because once I got you kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I am always one. Now, don't get me wrong, if my agent's just like, no, Liz, like, I want you to cold call and I want you to do it with me, guess what? I'm going to do it with you. Like, I have no, like, I'm going to help you build the flyers. We are going to do this together. And that is why my agents like working with me, because I'm very hands-on. Because again, just like Tiffany said, I don't like the online, like, you need to figure it out thing. Like, oh, this is how you do an open house, and there's just a video. You're like, wait, what the heck? Like, I don't know what to say. What do my objections look like? I'm like, no, guys, come on. We're going to do this together. This is the script. We're going to run this 1 or 2 times before we go through and door knock, and then you're going to go fly. So I'm very much like that. And you guys know, I've invited I'll openly invite everyone to do, Little Bear, stop. So sorry, my dog is like choking over there.
Sorry. You're like, little bear, stop. And he's like, help.
So it's, so I will tell you guys, like, even whether you're on my team or not, like, if you want to learn how to door knock, let's go. Let's plan a day. Like, right now, I'm going door knocking for my open house on Thursday. Desiree actually found a better time in that community to go through and door knock. So I'm going to probably be door knocking between, I don't know, maybe like 1 to 3 on Thursday. It's going to be extremely hot, but we're going to do it. So if you want to join me, send me a text, go right at it, reach out to me, and we'll go door knocking together. And I'm going to door knock 1 or 2 doors with you, and then be prepared. You're going to go through and you're going to execute. You're going to execute, because I don't want you to waste your time. Like, I never want to put anybody in a situation where it's just a waste of time. It just makes no sense to me. And we have better things to do.
And I have a question for you, because I know some people always when they get into it, and they're like, what if they don't follow my lead? And I already know how Liz would approach this, but let's say, same example of like, hey, I'm doing open houses, let's go do open houses. Or you have your team meeting and you're like, hey, this team meeting, we're all going to practice some scripts. But let's say an agent is like repeatedly saying like, hey, that's just not my thing. And you support me in this, but so I'm just not going to do that. How do you approach those situations? Because there are going to be times where we think we're like, oh my gosh, this agent's amazing. We are on the same page. Let me add them to my team. And then they're doing their own thing. And you're like, well, I thought we were on a team. How do you handle those types of situations?
Oh, honestly, so right now, I think I'm going to change the perspective really quick, and then I'm going to come back to that. Guys, it doesn't matter what group it doesn't matter if you sew, it doesn't matter if you play games, it doesn't matter. Any kind of group, when you have a group of people, you're always going to have people who are very hungry. You're also going to have people who are going to not perform. Doesn't matter. You're always gonna have people here and there, right? I think it does. You're always gonna have people who want to perform. You're always gonna have people who are like, hey, I'm okay with getting by. Now, when I go through and I interview an agent to join the team, it has to be all or nothing, meaning you have an interview with me and then you have an interview with, like, a panel interview with my agents. And if one person says no, guess what? The answer is no. So if we're giving them, like, as right now, we're going through a transition period in the market where people are not performing, and I tell them, like, I'm going to show up every single time. Like, I'm going to show up. And if you're not there, like, if you don't want to show up, these are your results, because at the end of the day, like, we have to shift that employee mindset to a CEO. Like, just because you're on a team, it doesn't mean that you're an employee. You are still the owner of your own business, and your performance is not affecting me. It's affecting you. Like, I want nothing more than for you to be successful. However, if you can't perform, that's a you problem, not a me problem. And right now we're getting ready to have conversations where it's just like, look, maybe this isn't working. And you have to be okay with that, because those are the tough conversations that you as a team leader have to have. It's just like, look, right now we've showed up. You're not doing what you need to do. You're not doing what we committed for, like, because I take all of their goals and I'm like, all right, we did some goal planning. We know what we're supposed to be doing. Are you hitting your numbers? No. Okay, what can we do to change that? What needs to be done in order for us to make the adjustment for you to change so that you can either be on pace to hit your goals or whatever, or did the commitment to your goal change, as Tom's always tells us. But if they're just like, oh, I really don't want to do this anymore. Oh, I just got into real estate to sell my own house. Well, guess what? We're just not a good fit for each other and we need to part ways. It's just what you have to do. It's just what you have to do. And being a team leader, that it can get very difficult. It's a very uncomfortable conversation, but you have to be able to have those conversations. They're very and it's you're coming from a place of, look, I just want to see you succeed, and maybe this just isn't working for us, and you need to do something better for you. And I'm okay with that. Does that help, Tiff?
Yes, it does. And because it's like right before 9, I just want to take a quick pause, give Liz a chance to drink something. Guys, do you have any questions? I'm going to open up the chat here and see
You
if there's
guys
anything that I
can
missed.
ask away. Like, I know this kind of is like, I mean, if this conversation kind of feels like the rain right now, very dark. Very dark.
So yes, I would like to share. I'm almost 2 years in the business, but I just recently joined Ariel Vargas's team in January, and yes, you have to be part of the team or not be in a team at all.
Yep.
So I come from a culture of restaurants where I used to own 5 restaurants and I was the team lead of all of them. And I am there with you, Liz. You have to put your hands with your team members. You have to, you have to lead by example. You have to show them, yes, this is how we're going to do it, because this is the best for you to grow as a person, for our team to grow, for, the culture to continue being where we are. And that's what I found in Ariel's team. Collaboration. We have the same values. He is a person who actually trains you. The training is amazing. The support. I would not be able to be where I am right now if I would not join a team. I was trying my best for the first 1.5 years. And I was like, yeah, but I have questions that I don't know what my questions are. I don't know where I go from here. Okay, I took 80 hours of training. Now what? So yes, you do need that guidance, especially if you're new. You do need like that roadmap, let's call it. This is how it gets done. This is how we do it. You take on, you filter, you apply it to yourself, to your personality. Some people like to do open houses. That's me. I love to be in front of people. Coming from a restaurant perspective, I'm used to people coming to me.
Yep.
So me going to them and making phone calls. I do make phone calls. I hate making cold calls because that's not me. That's not my personality. So in a team, you got the opportunity to work with a lot of people, a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different personalities, and you could actually choose and kind of manicure how you want to run your business. So as my advice as a brand new agent, if you want to succeed, not only in this business, in any business, look for the guidance.
Yep.
You cannot do it on your own. There are a lot of people that have done this many, many years ahead of you. They know the road, they know the ways. The way that we're getting trained in our team is just we are dissecting the contract, which is the base of our business. I mean, that's where everything starts and that's where everything ends. And if you don't know what all these little words are inside of them, how can you protect your license and your client? And that's one of the things that, yeah, at the beginning, I read my contract 2 times a day for 30 days. And I was like, yeah, but I still don't know what that means. So, picking from experience is the most important thing. And I'm just going to leave it at that because as I said, I just joined this team and I have seen the progress professionally. As a business person, I have grown so much since January. And it's really great. Thank you so much, Liz, for this call because it opened up my eyes and it clarifies a lot of my questions. Why did I choose a team? And you just hit it in the nail.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you, Kenya. I miss you.
That's
Oh.
awesome. We're so happy for you.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any other questions? I put something in the chat as well, and I basically said, find someone that shares the same core values as you, whether you're starting or joining a team. Never stray away from your core values. Like mine are, like, I'm big on integrity. Like, I'm sorry, and I'm not commission breath. It's not about you, it's about the client. And if you want to just come in because you want to burn and turn, you are not. I don't care if you are $100 million producer and you are a turn and burn kind of like agent. It don't sit well with me. We're good. We do not need to work together. And that's okay.
And guys, keep in mind, when we say team can be two people. Yeah, everyone thinks that team means like 5, 6, 7, 10, 20, 40 agents. We're not telling you to go find 40 people that have the same core values as you. It'll take you a while. Team can be one other person with you on that team.
Absolutely.
But all of the same things that Liz just mentioned applies. And if you're not great with contracts, then guess what? You need to partner with someone who is great with contracts.
Like I will tell you this right now. I tell my agents all the time, guys, like every time an offer goes out for one of my agents, it has to get approved by me. So imagine if you're sending out 5, 6 offers a week because you're trying to work with this one client and they're an investor. Like I have a life too, but I'm not going to put your license in liability. So before that offer goes out, it has to get approved by me. And the reason is just like, what if you forgot to put a washer dryer in there? Has anybody got stuck having to buy a washer dryer or the brand new, the $3,500 refrigerator? Has anybody ever? I'm sorry.
Is it thing?
I was saying I think that's important. I was gonna say to other new agents, because I'm on year 2 myself, is I joined a team not only to learn, because I was like, Kenya, where do I start? But also to keep me out of real estate jail.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things you just don't know, and you don't know what you don't know, right? And the contracts being number one essential is learning that, because you get in a hurry and you might forget to check one little simple box, and that can change everything. So I always send to my team leader because I like to have a second pair of eyes. I've gotten pretty, proficient at writing them, but I'm nowhere near, solid, I feel like. So I have no qualms with sending it over to my team leader.
As it should be. Like, I can
Mhm.
tell you this right now, like, I'm like, what if you forgot to put that there's an appraisal contingency in the contract? Ooh, I've received plenty of those being a listing agent. I'm just like, what if you forgot to put that it's contingent on the sale of someone's house? What if you forgot to put, what if you forgot to put a loan approval period of, let's say you have a 70-day close and you put the loan approval in 30 days, like, because you didn't put a 30 and you just left it blank and they get denied on day 45. A lot of people don't think of those things. And it's so crucial because that right there is what's going to jeopardize your license and that person's escrow. Because if you lose escrow for somebody, who you think they're coming after? After. I'm telling you, I had an attorney client and he was so impressed that I told him, I was like, you can go on section this, this is what it tells you. He's just like, wow, your contracts. I said, because I don't play with other people's money. Don't do it. So that's why I make sure that every time an offer goes out, that it's approved by me, because I'm going to ask those questions. Hey guys, was there a washer and dryer in the house? Is it included on the MLS or is it not? Are we just asking for it? What does that look like? To make sure that, hey, you're not stuck giving up your commission to buy a washer and dryer. There's times where I go through repair addendums. Claire's on here right now. She's not on camera, but I'm like, hey mom, I have this repair request that I'm asking for. Can you just review it really quick to see if it looks good? Because I want to make sure I cross my T's and dot my I's. And she'll tell me, she goes, it looks good, but change this because you need to make sure it's a licensed electrician or a licensed contractor, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, crap. Thank you so much. And I'll get it updated. There's nothing wrong with getting a second pair of eyes to look at something, because what you're missing, someone else is going to catch.
The list agent sent us a contract and it was a $250,000 house, but on the contract, she had 2,500,000. Yes.
I
She
mean,
had
that is
one,
a great offer.
Ooh.
but she was lucky she had me, because I was like, you need to change this.
Oh my
I
God.
wanted to mention, Tony DeFalco used to say, the best way to attract agents is to be their broker before you're their broker. And it can be taken one of two ways: either be that team leader broker for them before they actually come to your team, or be that broker level eyes, the way Liz looks at the contracts. Liz doesn't have a broker license, so she's acting like their broker before she's their broker. So I don't care either way you take it. Some of the best leadership that I have seen in real estate is very reflective of that.
It's so important, man. Like, I don't ever want to, I'm telling you, I remember I made one mistake. I had to give up my entire commission. I was on a team. And this is why I'm very adamant the way that I am. There was verbiage put into the contract that wasn't explained to me. It was reviewed by my team leader and they screwed up, which it caused the seller to have to take money to closing. It caused the seller to have to take money to closing, and we had to give up our commission on our side. And I said, that will never happen again. That will never happen again. They understood, everything was great. It just took us having to give up the commission. I think they had to take like $2,000 to closing, which they were okay with. They bought and sold within a 6-month period. So it was okay. But I'm like, what if this came in like significant? What if this appraisal came in significantly lower at like 200,000? were they gonna pay? Were they gonna bring, 90 grand to closing? And that was approved by my team leader, that offer. So I said, that will never happen again. And that is why I am adamant about all offers going through me before they go before they go out, because I don't want my agents to ever deal with something like that. I think that happened in year 2 of me being in real estate. So hopefully that helps you guys. I know this is kind of dark, but honestly, I love my team. Like, just seeing them soar has just been amazing. Watching all of you guys, like Delania and Kenya, like I remember you guys starting, and now I just see Delania teaching a bunch of classes on open houses, and being a part of a team, it gives you that confidence that you need, because you get more one-on-one attention to help you grow. So honestly, guys, if you're looking for something, I mean, we're all here. This is another team in itself, but I'm like, I love you guys. Notabomb.com. Questions, concerns? I know this is, again, this was kind of like really dark and dreary, so.
Muted.
Okay.
Oh, you're still muted. You can come
Okay.
off. There you
I'm
go.
on, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Hi. I have a question. I'm gonna new on real estate, and I am under contract with a condo that I'm the listing agent, and they asked me, and the condo is selling furnished, and on the as is contract is, and we were, as I said, we signed the contract since last Friday. They asked me to put an inventory, all the items that they're gonna be in it. So do I have to do that in an addendum for them to sign, or just a regular piece of paper describing the items that are inside of the place?
I would put it on an addendum and label it addendum A or something that's, so typically my addendums 1, 2, and 3s are things that have to go to the lender. Everything, and then I'll do A, B, and C for anything that's just between buyer and seller. So you want to go through and you want to make sure, excuse me, are we still recording? You can turn off the
We
lights.
are, but let's do this. Thank you everyone for attending this amazing call. Thank you, Liz, for giving us so much of your time, and not just time from today, but sharing experience from years of your time. So thank you so much, because I did drop this on her last week. I was like, hey, you're leaving the call Friday. She said, okay, thanks. So thank you, Liz.
And stuff. Sorry, I'm like,